The film begins in the year 2024, where we see different countries of the world burning. Actually, this is the time when wars are going on throughout the world. Everyone is fighting against each other. Later, the story shifts to the past, that is, 1998. We see a detective police officer whose name was Thomas. He goes to a place with his friend to detect where an accident had happened, where the driver had died. When they checked the neck of that girl, there were 3 holes there. 2 more people died in this city in the same way. This means they were also having holes in the necks. Later, Thomas goes to the lab with his friend, where the doctor tells them that 3 of them have died for the same reason. You're right, they've died because of the holes in the neck. But we're unable to find out with which think they've been attacked, and how they've been killed. Later, Thomas learns that another girl is being attacked in the club. But she hasn't died but is alive. So Thomas goes to check with his companion. There was already a detective there, who was the brother of Thomas's wife. They begin to ask the girl who has been attacked. The girl was quite scared and nervous. She tells them that a girl attacked me. She was wearing a blue hoodie and blood was also there on her hand. While she was telling them about this, she feels pain in her neck. Her pain increases enough that she dies in agony. After checking, they find the same marks on her neck. From this, they understand that she is also killed by the same girl, who has killed 3 people today. So they arrest everyone who was wearing a blue hoodie and investigate. When Thomas was with his companion in the car, a girl with a blue hoodie was running. She has covered her face and after seeing them, she starts to run. Thomas runs with his companion to chase her. She reaches the railway station while running. Thomas's companion has seen her. He secretly comes and holds her. But she frees herself and hits him with a board. As a result, one of his foot breaks. Then Thomas also reaches there and takes that hoodie girl at gunpoint. Here we learn her name, which is Raya. She tells Thomas that his wife is going to have a baby today. After that, she'll have a daughter, but sadly she will die. Thomas doesn't believe her and attacks her to catch her. Thomas has grasped her feet, but Raya cleverly tied him with his own handcuff. As she was going, Thomas gets the weapon from she used to kill everyone. With this weapon, he attacks Raya's leg. As a result, she becomes imbalanced. As the train hits her, she was flown away by train. And she died. After killing her, Thomas takes a breath of peace, because he has solved this case. When he comes out, he learns that his wife has been hospitalized, because she is going to have a baby today. As Thomas goes inside the hospital, he is informed that he has been blessed with a daughter. That Raya, the girl with the hoodie, has told him. He doesn't pay much attention because he believes that this could be a coincidence. Then a police officer comes and tells Thomas, the girl Raya who died. After checking her dead body, a bullet is found. It means someone has shot her, but Thomas doesn't pay attention. He was quite happy because today his daughter is born. Later, a doctor comes sadly and tells Thomas that during that all, your wife's condition deteriorates. With great sorrow, we are telling you that we've saved your daughter. But we can't save your wife, she had died. Knowing this, Thomas was broken. He was sad but shocked as well. Raya has told Thomas the same. This means she was telling Thomas about his future time. This question keeps roaming in Thomas's mind. That how did she know that? Many years pass like this but Thomas doesn't get his answer. Thomas's daughter has grown up and today, she turned 9 years. Today was her birthday, as his wife has died on this day. After taking his daughter, he goes to his wife's grave, where someone had already kept flowers. He thinks either his detective friend or his wife's brother had done this. Thomas calls them and both of them haven't kept these flowers. He begins to think about who has kept these flowers. Then he receives a call and he is informed that a murder has been committed in the city. That is committed in the same way as the 4 people in 1988 were murdered. On the place where the accident took place, Thomas goes and checks its recording, in which he sees a blue hoodie girl who was looking like Raya. Thomas begins to think that she died 9 years ago. Everyone explains to him that maybe the killer has deliberately worn the blue hoodie, so she could distract us. Thomas had doubts, so he opened the 9-year-old file of Raya. With her luggage, he finds a key. He gives it to his officer companion to check it. Thomas then learns that another girl is murdered at the airport. When he goes with his companion, the girl has the same holes in her neck, from which Thomas learns that whoever this murderer is, he is killing everyone in the same way. That way is similar to the murders committed 9 years ago. He also learns that the one who has been killed had a writer's book with him, and whoever has been murdered had the same book with them. For this reason, he has many questions in his mind, but he couldn't find the answers. The key Thomas has given for checking turns out that this is the key of a plane that is made a year ago. Knowing this, Thomas gets more worried. If this plane is made a year ago, what was this key doing with Raya had this key 9 years ago? Then a scientist comes to Thomas, who was a scientist who tells Thomas, every year when there is a red moon, that is, the moon eclipse, there comes a time between then when we can travel past. We can go to the past while traveling. For that purpose, I've made a machine too. Thomas and his companions find his words useless. So they don't pay much attention to him. And the doctor goes after being hopeless. Thomas and his companion come to the place where the plane was. Whose key he has. He goes alone, and then Raya comes in front of him. And she points her gun at him. Seeing her alive, Thomas was shocked. She died in front of him, and how is she alive now? And her age hasn't grown as well. At the gunpoint, Raya was about to tell Thomas about something. Then Thomas's friend comes inside. As she turns back, she mistakenly shoots the gun. As a result, Thomas's companion died. As the police come there, Raya forcibly takes Thomas on the plane. While flying, she tells Thomas he'll be shocked to see me alive, isn't he? Actually, I come in the past by time traveling. This is what I do to fix the future time. If I don't do this, everything will be changed in the future. Everything will be destroyed. I can only travel in time on the moon eclipse's night. Thomas thinks that this is the same theory that the doctor has told him a while ago. Before saying something else, Raya pushed Thomas down. And he somehow manages to come out of the water. The next morning, when the police come to investigate, they find the broken pieces of the plane there. It means that the plane crashed. But there is no whereabouts of Raya. Thomas tells everyone that he has talked to that girl, Raya. She comes to the past by time traveling. But obviously, no one believes him. Later, we see the scene from 2006. This means 9 years have passed. Thomas's life has totally changed. He has left his job of the police. He always reads about the moon's eclipse. He has not seen the doctor for a long time. His daughter has grown older and is now living with her mom's brother. Now, Thomas finds out that there was a murder committed in 1998. They don't have any report of it. So he goes to the grave of the man, who was the writer. As he opens it and checks his skeleton, there were also holes in his neck, that is, he was also killed by Raya. So he goes to the writer's house and meets his wife. Before dying, my husband used to run a group, and he has written a book. Now, Thomas learns from a paper that this book belonged to everyone that died in 1997 and 1988. Along with this, a friend of the writer was alive, who is running this group. Knowing this, Thomas goes to meet her, because he knows that the next turn will be of the writer's friend. Raya will kill her because it was solar eclipse's night today. Now, he goes there but it was too late. The friend of the writer was killed. Then Thomas sees Raya, who was running from there. He shoots at her, and a bullet hits her hand. Then she runs from there, and Thomas chases her. She goes to a big pipeline near the seashore. When he goes there, he sees the time travel machine on the other side of the pipe, on which Raya sat, and the water was filled in that machine. The machine disappears from with a sharp light. That she'll come to 1988 by time traveling. She died because of him. From her body, a bullet was found that Thomas has hit her in 2006. About this bullet, the police officer told Thomas about when his daughter was born. Now, Thomas has understood all the matters. That's when the police come there. He tries to make everyone understand but no one believes him. Along with this, he was arrested. The police think that he must have killed the writer's friend. Later, we see the time of 2015, i.e. 9 years have passed. And Thomas is still engaged in solving this strange case. He always lives outside the pipe. From Raya has gone inside from the time machine. And it was also moon eclipse night today. And he was sure that Raya will surely come. Although his daughter was going to have a baby today. But he didn't go. He wants the answer to the questions that he has been searching for years. Finally, the time machine comes and breaks there. Raya comes out of the machine, and Thomas points his gun at her. And asks her to tell him who is she. She tells him that she is Raya, his granddaughter. And is traveling in time because you've asked me to do this. I've started my journey in the year 2024, where the world is burning, destroying. Because there are wars in the world. And this is happening because of the book of the writer, which he has written in 1988. Because after reading that book, people had a great influence on the minds. Because of that book, people started to fight with the world. And the whole world has become a battlefield. To save the world, the writer has made a time machine. In which after 9 years, only on the night of the moon eclipse's night, one could travel. I am killing all those people after traveling back into the past. Who've been caused for the war. So I could save the world from destruction. Thomas sees that there is no mark of the bullet on Raya's hand. It means after completing her mission in 2015, she'll come to 2006 by time travel when Thomas has shot at her hand. Then in 1997, and then in 1988, when she'll die because of Thomas. Raya gives him the bracelet which he gifted his wife. Thomas gets worried to know this. That he is the killer of his granddaughter because she'll die because of him. He tells Raya to stop him until she goes to 1988. So I can't kill you and then come back to the future. Raya tells him that this isn't possible because my travel is one-sided. With time travel, I can only go into the past once. I can't return to my own time. After going 9 years back every time, I'll kill the writer in 1988. So he can't write the book from the war started. After knowing the truth, Thomas gets sad. Later, Rye tells him to go to the hospital, because today she is going to have her birthday. Saying this, she goes. When Thomas comes to the hospital, his granddaughter has been just born. He gets happy to see her and Raya after going back 9 years each time. We'll kill everyone who'll become the reason for the war. Finally, she reached the writer who was writing this book. The book will become the reason for the war. So she kills the writer before its completion. Later, we are shown the future time, which is 2024, where all the destruction started to end up. Everything was fine, it means no war has broken out there. Raya died during